Larry Ridley, and this is Madden 17 on EA Sports. Tonight's matchup features two quarterbacks who will be trying to lead their team to victory. It's the Jaguars going up against the Dolphins. With that, let's go down to Miami. Standing by, Brandon Guyton and Charles Davis.
All right, Larry, EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to the Sunshine State in one of America's finest cities, Miami, Florida. Tonight, we've got an AFC matchup on tap between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins. On first down, it's Tannehill. Brought in over the middle by Grant. And this one will go to the 28-yard line. A gain of 4 on the play, and it'll make it a second down. The Miami Dolphins starting lineup now, and Kenyon Drake, a guy to watch.
He has the ability to affect the game in so many different ways. In the return game, bringing it back himself. Also can be a gunner on the punt coverage team and did that very well at Alabama. But has the ability to run the ball out of the backfield as well as catch it. Kenyon Drake, you can use him so many different ways.
Charles, how important is it for Ryan Tannehill to continue to find Devontae Parker as the season progresses?
It just increases the options that they have, and you know that Jarvis Landry, their top receiver, loves this. Anything to take some of the pressure off and create more space for him, but they need those guys in tandem to help out Ryan Tannehill, as well as an offensive line that'll keep him upright.
Parker, 2 catches, 70 yards. His best game so far back against the Patriots, 108 this year. Second and 10, Tannehill once more. Flushed out right. Oh, he's got some breathing room. And now he lost the football. Tannehill loses it. And his guys are going to get the football at the 37-yard line. And without a doubt, not the way they pictured that opening drive unfolded.
No, they were making progress. They weren't exactly in high gear, but they were making a few yards along the way. And now that they've coughed it up, you got to go back to the sidelines and regroup a little bit.
2 yards on the carry there. It'll be second down. And the box that's highlighted is for Hearns on this offense.
Do you have your track shoes available? Because Allen Hearns is a guy that gets you on your horse if you're trying to defend him. He can take anyone deep and win on any route.
On second down, Ivory. Trying to bounce it outside, but he's only able to get it back to the line of scrimmage. Officially no gain on the play, and they're left with a 3rd and 8. Okay, time now to meet the starters defensively for the Miami Dolphins.
And let's start with Xavier Howard, a cornerback out of Baylor. He's one of the top 50 players on my board coming out of the draft in 2016, and I don't think he's going to disappoint. Long, lean, has excellent ball skills.
Throwing his Bortles on 3rd down. Flush to his right. He may try and run for this. And he slides to avoid the hit. From here, this would have been a 48-yarder, but no, they're going to go for it.
Now, how about that play? He took a possible negative and turned it into positive yardage and slid down to avoid taking a big shot. Excellent job getting down and avoiding the big hit.
They'll go for it. It's Bortles. And he's got it to Hearns. And he will have a first down at about the 21-yard line.
Well, the field goal attempt was well in hand. They had that, but they decided to go for it anyway. Extreme confidence, it looks like.
Yeah, but I bet the defense is going to remember this one, right? They kind of rubbed their nose in it. A running play now for Ivory. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 3.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball, but when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
Now a first carry for T.J. Yeldon. They got 2 of the 3 they needed there. It leaves them with 3rd and just a yard.
So many times we look at a short run and we praise the offense for trying to set the tempo and establish things, but the defensive guys, hey, they just won the battle there. It wasn't a big run given up. They don't always have to absorb the body blows. Sometimes they dish them out themselves.
The 6 yards on the pickup, and it leaves them with a 1st and goal.
And fit's the exact right word. Over the middle, there's almost always traffic, so anytime you're a receiver in that area, you're not just focused on catching the football. You're wondering where the collision's going to come from, right? Because there's almost always someone there able to concentrate, catch it, and even add a little extra at the end with a short run.
They'll say no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd and goal. 3-4 defense, usually here you'll see the linebackers come up, make those plays, but the nose tackle also vital.
That was so vital because what you just pointed out, normally he eats up blockers that allows the linebackers to get to the ball carrier. In this case, he did his job and then some, and there was no gain at all for the runner.
Here's Ivory, and the hole closes quickly here. He can fight only to about the 4. They get 3 yards closer, but still work to do. It's 3rd and goal.
His path became similar to almost running a stretch play, didn't it? Trying to find a crease, anywhere to put his foot in the ground and cut back. It just never materialized.
And it's 3rd down and goal from the 4. A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th.
They might think about going for it here, but it's still just the 2nd quarter. Take the 3 points, tell the defense you believe in them, and let them get the ball back for you.
And the first play will be a field goal try. This a fairly straightforward 22-yard short attempt. And Myers able to knock it through. And the Jaguars grab a 3-0 lead. And that field goal caps an 11-play drive.
That's a lot of offense to run to only get 3 points, but they'll take them. Anytime you can put anything on the board, you run to your sideline somewhat happy.
These Dolphins, Charles, they need to get things figured out on offense. They only had 8 first downs in Week 4, and then they only had 8 in Week 5. Those marks, NFL lows this season.
And I know everyone is looking at Ryan Tannehill, the quarterback, and pointing fingers in that direction. But when you can't run the ball in the NFL, you really put way too much pressure on whoever is playing that position. I mean, they had 51 yards total on the ground against Tennessee. What is it? Jay Ajayi had 42 of them. That's just not going to work. They've got to run the ball better to take some of that pressure off.
Well, let's go league-wide here. The Atlanta Falcons, we haven't talked about them a whole lot up to this point, but back-to-back weeks beating Carolina and Denver, the 2 teams that played in the Super Bowl.
And I know that many people earlier in the season were saying, well, remember they started 5-0 in 2015 and they collapsed and didn't make the playoffs. But after what you just described, being the 2 Super Bowl participants back-to-back weeks, including Denver on the road, I think people believe this team's for real.
So here we go now. An extra defensive back in there on 3rd and 10. Tannehill now to throw. And throw right side complete to Parker. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36. So he makes the grab and the chains move forward.
Nice job by the offensive line giving them time to complete that first down pass.
On first down, Tannehill. And he's got it. Got his man on the end route. Complete. 17 yards on the pickup there, and the drive will continue.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now you can run anything and catch the balls we just saw there.
Throwing right, and that's complete.
Brandon, there's a long, proud tradition in the NFL of guys who break the mold. And Jakeem Grant does exactly that because he is a little guy, but he is lightning with the ball in his hands. How about that punt return?
That's 74 yards, and you mentioned he's a little guy, but he showed the explosiveness in Week 5. He is only 5'7", though.
But he can play on offense. You put him in the slot, you move him around. He can create big plays in that position.
Again, Tannehill. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he'll be a little shy of the 25 here at the 26-yard line. 4 yards on the pickup, and that'll bring up a 3rd down. And the Jags have 5 in the secondary here on 3rd down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he is going to lose yardage here. He loses 4, and it brings up 4th.
There's another example of why they haven't scored any points so far. I think it's time to abandon the run game, spread things out, and go to the air. It certainly can't be any worse than what they've done so far.
And Frank's kick is good. And the Dolphins are going to tie the score at 3. So the scoring drive encompasses 9 plays, but the net gain, 3 points.
And you're going to have drives like that in this league. Sometimes you just got to take the 3 and move on. Always better than nothing.
So a tie ball game here as the kick's away. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And last year that would have been a net gain of 5 on the return. This year he stopped where he would have been if he had taken a knee. And that's at the 25. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But they also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
They set up the screen to Ivory. Call it a gain of 3. And it'll bring up a 2nd down.
In order for a screen pass to break big, a lot of things have to come together and be well executed. But all it takes is one small thing to go wrong and keep it from being a big gain.
2 minutes to play in a tightly contested first half. We'll come back to Miami after this. Now it's 2nd and 7. This is Ivory. Good work to pick up 7 yards there. That gets him into a 3rd and 1 situation.
And once again, leverage wins. The offensive line, lower than the defensive front. They moved them and found some good space for the guy carrying the ball.
And now it looks like they're going to be in the hurry-up. They run with their short yardage man, Ivory. Shedding the tackle, and it gives him some room. And he's brought down after a good gain. A good pickup there at 22.
Well, partner, that's one of the problems when you sell out to stop the run on 3rd and short. Sometimes you break the initial wall and you go a long way.
So how do you prevent it?
That's tough to do. That really is tough to do. And one of the things offenses like to do nowadays in practice, they do a lot of working against equal numbers. They'll start putting more and more numbers on defense and just telling the offensive guys, figure it out. Learn how to block it. We may see this situation.
Now a give, right side, it's Ivory. And he'll take it inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. Call it a gain of 4, and it'll leave him with a 3rd down and 6 to go.
On any running play that's called, they're always hoping that it's going to break big and go the distance. But when you get a nice gain like that, you're able to do so many things anyway. You can come back and run essentially the same play again, continue to move the ball on the ground, or you can decide to throw the ball now because usually you have the defense back on its heels.
Here's Bortles to throw. Caught out left side by Robinson. Whoosh. And he gets the 1st down here as he's taken down at the 24. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. So here we go, 1st and 10 now. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to get this one down inside the 15. That one good for 10 yards. And that'll bring up a 2nd and just about a few inches here. And quickly they get to the line. Throwing now is Bortles. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete.
As tight ends go, he might not provide the super flashy plays very often, but he's pretty reliable. Usually an excellent target and normally catches what's thrown to him, but he didn't on that play.
This will be the 8th play of the drive, and it's 3rd and inches. carry number 10 now for Ivory. That'll make it 4th down after a loss of 1. And no signs of the field goal unit. They're going for it on 4th down. The 3rd and inches, tried to pick it up the middle. He had nowhere to go, tackled for a loss.
And you know how we talk about double A gap.
Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. Long drive. The defense just cannot seem to catch a break and get off the field.
Here we go now. 390. 390.
Throwing on 1st down is Bortles. He'll be hit and taken down at the 21. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. So 3 seconds here remain in the half. On is the field goal unit to see about getting 3 points. Right hash, 37-yard attempt. And Myers able to knock it through. And that will do it for this first half. That's it for the first half. 2 more quarters to go. We'll have plenty more to see after the break. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he'll bring it a few past the 20 to the 23-yard line. Out come the Jaguars now as he'll go on offense first here in this 3rd quarter. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had the ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their...
Chris Ivory off to the races. 20, 10, touchdown, Jaguars. Chris Ivory, 76 yards. And the Jaguars had 6 to their lead. Well called, well blocked, and then he just made a great play. That was an athlete going a long way.
Yeah, how about the suddenness, too, of just getting there and taking off and going? For the defensive guys, plays like that really hurt.
And after the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away. And a fair catch signaled for and taken successfully. Now we take a glance at the offense as they work their way back out for their first possession of the second half. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start.
Back to the air, Tannehill on 2nd down. And he fires one that's intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off. And they are going to set up shop at the 32-yard line. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. And coming off a one-play drive that was so deflating for the defense, what's their mentality? How do they rally here and stop this offense?
Well, hopefully there's some determination that sets in because they weren't ready to go on the last one. Give all the credit to the offensive guys for getting it done, but to allow a run of that length, that's just not being prepared. So now, are they determined? Are they ready to read their keys and make the proper plays?
And we'll see how determined they are. In motion, Julius Thomas. On 2nd down, here's Bortles. Middle of the field, it's Robinson. A really nice pickup of 14 yards, and it moves the sticks. Well, clearly one of his advantages as a passer is his height. Sit back in the pocket, fired over the middle. That makes things tougher defensively, doesn't it?
It really does, because your goal is to move the quarterback off his initial spot when he gets his drop back completed. But when you have that type of height, he can stay in there if he's willing to take the hits and just fire over the top, which saves him time and actually completes a play a little bit quicker than it normally does for a quarterback who has to slide and find open space to throw.
And the D-line pinching together must be expecting the run. They stay on the ground. Ivory again. And for one of the first times tonight, he's going to be held up at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play, and it'll bring up a third down.
And that's one of the few times they've been able to contain him. He's had a heck of a game, and maybe he's getting a little bit tired from how many times he's carried the ball. But I always think back to when all those...
And he will get this into the end zone for a Jaguar touchdown. Their dangerous wide receiver. A 9-yard touchdown grab. And the Jaguars add on to their lead. And he pushed it right. It's no good. And after the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken. The Dolphins offense now heads back on the field. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack him here. And it drops down incomplete. Thought he might have had it. Instead, second down. So 2nd and 10 here. They come up in an empty set. 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Now it's Tannehill. And he hits his target. It's Kenny Stills. That one goes for 13 yards, and it moves the sticks.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down. Executed it to perfection. And that one falls incomplete. Looked like he might have had position there, but he couldn't hold on at its second down.
And when all else fails as a defender, when you're not there in the coverage, your best friend is exactly what we saw there. A big play shot taken by the offense. Unfortunately, it ended in a big drop.
Here's Tannehill. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up third down.
We know it's not an easy job to go out and catch passes when people are trying to tackle you and knock the ball away. But the bottom line is, that's a pass he's got to have and a pass he should have caught.
To throw is Tannehill. And he can't come up with a pick. Nearly his 2nd of the game. Instead, 4th down. Well, he just threw an interception last drive. Nearly another pick.
And things aren't very even right now, are they? It's a little bit sloppy out there, isn't it? It's kind of the difference between driving on those paved roads and those country roads that have those potholes in them, isn't it?
He rifles one that's intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off.
All right, Brandon. Normally when you hear about guys making 2 interceptions in the game, you're thinking, must be a